Hello, this is State Senator Pamela Althoff, and today we are at the Petersen Farm in McHenry, Illinois. And we're on Season 2, Episode 3 of my Living History series. And if you'll recall, we started the Living History series to show you the importance of having living history within your community so you know your roots and your historical significance in the world, as well as the importance of economic development and the importance of having people come into your community, spend their discretionary dollars on tourism, and add to the overall vital economy of the area. So we're being joined here today by Pat Wertz, who is affiliated with the City of McHenry's Landmark Commission. They actually are the entity that care for the inside of the farmstead. There's a lot of history here. So Pat, can you start kind of telling me the story about how Paige Colby purchased the property, how it was developed, and how it is that we ultimately got here to the Petersen farm?
Sure. Paige Colby, he arrived in the McHenry area about 1842, and his uncle was here already, and some of the other family members. And he walked out to McHenry from Chicago after this long journey from the East Coast.
And it wasn't just a one-day walk, it was a walk.
It was not a one-day walk, no. So Paige Colby was out here, and he purchased the land in this area for $130 for 80 acres. And that was the beginning, the origin of the farm. Now, as the other family members came out here, and he would marry a lady named Mahitable Smith, and the family began to purchase more acres. And pretty soon they had quite a few acres, hundreds of acres here. And for those of us in McHenry, we know that some of those acres have turned into Petersen Park, which with our ball fields across the way. But this was the last part of the farm that was not bought by the city of McHenry until 2001.
They had a wonderful mayor in 2001. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about how Paige ended up in McHenry County from New England area. So talk to me also a little bit about his eldest son, who was
Charles Colby. And we'll go back almost 100 years. Charles was here in this house, and Paige was on a farm just east of here on McCollum Lake Road. But Charles had been here. Now his daughter married a Petersen, and that's where the Petersen farm comes in, and the Petersen ball fields behind me now, but to our south, and that's everybody in McHenry pretty much knows the Petersens, but
Right.
It's the Colbys that were here first.
We've made the trek up the stairs, which were original to the house. We now are in one of the bedrooms. Information about typical, again, architectural features. Is this a typical sized room?
Well, this bedroom, first of all, was the bedroom that Bob Petersen, the last owner, slept in. As far as we know, with minor modifications, this would have been, the normal sized bedroom at the time. There were probably 4 bedrooms. The 4th bedroom was turned into a bathroom upstairs and a closet. But there were 4 bedrooms up here. And an interesting story, the Weather Channel used this bedroom to shoot part of one of their Weather Channel half-hour stories about flooding in the Mississippi Delta. And so they did some of the filming from this bedroom looking out the window, and they used the 1920s Model Ts and everything out in the yard. That was about 8-9 years ago. And most of the items in here are original from the Petersen family, and a few older items from the Colby family.
We are very fortunate in that this structure basically stayed in the family and was occupied by family members. So you were able to retain pieces of furniture and memorabilia. Right. So Pat, we've moved from the upstairs now down to the downstairs in the kitchen area. Talk to me a little bit. We were talking about footprints, and we know that the exterior footprint remains the same. There's been a lot of interior changes, and this was an addition to the original building.
This was the first addition to the house, and we're not sure exactly when. But we do know, speaking of footprints, the doors were changed, and some of the hallways were changed a little bit in width or whatever.
But if people are interested in what a typical farm home looked like during that era, we have plenty of plans. We have all kinds of documentation, right. So we know, obviously, this home was lived in and was lived in hard. It was utilitarian, so obviously some of those remodelings on the inside should be expected.
And as we look here in the kitchen, everything here is original to the family, with the minor exception of our 1930 refrigerator, which actually still works. And it was something that was donated by Patty Roberts, and which was really nice of her. And if you look at the wood-burning stove, some of this was utilized to warm up the kitchen. They actually used to have an electric range here at the same time.
That they cooked on.
That they cooked on, right. Yeah. And so things changed, but they kept the wood-burning stove here, so we like it the way it is.
So tell me, we'll slide right into recreation. So tell me about some of the events that you host out here on the actual farm site.
Okay, well, the Landmark Commission, along with the McHenry County Farm Bureau, we co-host an event, an annual event every year. This is going to be our 10th annual event. We call it A Day at Petersen Farm. And what we have is farm animals for the kids to see and actually pet. We have hay rides, we have music, we have people doing all kinds of events, from rug making to sewing, all kinds of children's activities. The house is open, the barns are open. Last year was our first year to have a 1913 steam-powered tractor, which actually pulled one of our wagons filled with kids around. And so it's a great event. It's a 6-hour Sunday event on the last Sunday in June this year. And we usually get about 1,500 to 1,600 people out here in that 6 hours. It's a free event, which makes it great for young families. We want to have the house open more and available for people in the community and outside the community, so that they can see the farm and see what we have, which is a great thing, actually.
Well, again, historically, this is what McHenry was. McHenry was a farm community and supported itself, and this is one of the last really kind of self-contained entities that people can see what it looked like and what was experienced.
Right.
All right, Pat, tell me about the silo now specifically. I know you did receive grant monies to preserve it, but talk to me a little bit about historically what it means to have a wooden silo, fully wooden, and then about the first silo here in McHenry County?
Well, let's go back in history. The first silo in McHenry County was also the first silo in the United States, at least the way we look at silos today. Our silo here is a wooden silo. It's one of the few remaining wooden silos in the northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin area. If you get closer, you'll see the woodpeckers have made some homes in it. Approximately 11 years ago, 12 years ago, Bill Hobson and Doug Martin from the city of McHenry, they helped write a grant, and they used actual barnwood to reconstruct the wooden silos there. So it's kind of a wonderful piece here on the farm that no other farm in this area has. So that's...
And I think for people who are listening, that is, again, one of the wonderful, unique aspects to preserving and having living history, is that you get to see things that you wouldn't see anywhere else, and they're right in your backyard. You can go and see it every single day, up close, personal, and touch them. And there's just not enough words. It's like priceless. You just can't replace it with pictures or videos. You really need to see the real thing, and you have that opportunity when you preserve history. So it's apropos that we're concluding today's tour in front of the donated outhouse, which again is one of those wonderful, intangible qualities about having a site like this. You have the outhouse donated. We talked about the icebox that was donated. We talked about a quilt that was from the 1930s, donated today, that will be on display at the farmhouse. And it's all done not only with the assistance from the city of McHenry that owns the property, but more importantly, diligently from all of the volunteers in the Landmark Commission. So before we leave, Pat, can you do me the honor of introducing the rest of the commission members who came out here, opened the home, cleaned the home, and made it available for us today?
I'd love to. First of all, Zelinda Paluch, Pat Schaefer, and Karen Geese. We've been members together on the Landmark Commission for approximately 11, 12 years, some of us. These people cleaned the house this week and made it presentable for you.
And also participate in, again, all of the events that are open for free to the public. So we would encourage you to come out. It's the last Sunday in June.
June 25th.
Great event. So again, thank you so much to all of you for making it possible, for sharing the history. And this is extraordinarily important because this was McHenry County.
Thank you.